You gotta focus on how to make money. And make this world a better place. So today, we're gonna break down another scenario. If you haven't watched the last video, definitely recommend going and checking out when we broke down scenario 1. But for those of you that have seen it, let's dive in, and today I'm gonna choose scenario 3. So it reads, after graduating culinary school and working in a restaurant for 3 years, a young vegan chef has decided that they want to start a premium plant-based private chef and meal delivery service. Our intrepid chef has accumulated a few hundred followers on their own personal Instagram, but now wants to launch a website and social accounts for their new business. Where should our chef start? And how can they use this new online presence to attract new customers? And I see a lot of these people that come to me off of my first book, 1 Million Followers. And the first inclination that everybody has is, I'm gonna make a business by generating a bunch of followers and then convert them into end users.
I want to be famous.
Now, I'm not gonna say that there isn't examples of that working, but I wanna caution you, that is a fraction of 1% of the people that start social accounts that amasses that. I'm not saying that we can't look at that as a long-term vision for the business. If I was in this person's shoes or if I was advising them, I would say, let's focus on securing your first client.
You know how it is, securing the bag.
What bag?
What's up?
No, you say you're securing the bag. I mean, I haven't seen it.
If you can't secure one client, then how are you ever gonna amass 1,000 clients? It's that old adage is, crawl before you run. Fine to have a big goal, but we've got to start with tiny steps. He says that he's a vegan chef, so I would assume that he's probably health conscious. He's probably somebody that's creating very healthy and hopefully tasty food. So if it was me, where I would focus is not on the followers or organic content in the beginning. Where can I go to sign up my first clients? So a few ideas that come to my head immediately is I would reach out to every personal trainer in the area. I would reach out to every nutritionist in the area and forge a connection with them, because if you sign up, if you earn the trust of a personal trainer or a nutritionist, that one person can revert you to 10 clients. And then if you get 10 of those people, that could scale to 100 clients. Now let's talk about, well, how would I approach a trainer or a nutritionist? There is the very straightforward approach where it's like, hey, listen, I'm starting this new service. I'd love to talk to you about how it can provide value to your clients. That typically doesn't work as well. I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. The one way you can make it work, especially with personal trainers, a lot of them, and even nutritionists, they don't make a ton of money. So you can offer commission or affiliate deals of partnering with them. Or you provide it from a standpoint of, I know you're big on nutrition. I know your clients, you advise them to eat better. Well, I have a service that can help them on that path, and I can work with you to craft meal plans or craft a service that really plays nicely and organically into the brilliant work that you do. In addition, what you can say is, as I scale and as I grow, I'd be more than happy to refer clients back to you.
You scratch her back, she scratches your back.
Another approach that I advise a lot of people to do is more of like the backdoor approach. So one way of doing it is you can start a blog, you can start a podcast, you can start a website, or maybe even start writing a book. And what you can do is you can reach out to these people and say, hey, I would love to interview you for your area of expertise. It opens up the door to say, hey, I recognize you. I recognize your genius. And ultimately what I want to do is I want to express and show that genius to the world. They're more than likely to take that call with you or that meeting. And then after the interview, then you can connect with them and just say, hey, listen, this is the work that I'm doing. Maybe there's a way that I can offer value to your clients, or maybe there's a way that we can partner. So it's getting in through that back door, grabbing their attention, fostering that connection, and then expressing to them, hey, I'd love to partner or work something out. Another angle is paid advertising. And if you've seen the last video, we cover this deep detail. But I would start, and again, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but I would start creating some advertising campaigns on Facebook and Instagram, and maybe even test Google AdWords, create a listing on Yelp, and see if I can run some sponsored ads on Yelp. Now, one of the biggest things with paid advertising is you have to measure the return on investment that you get from it. If I spent $10, did I make a profit off of it? So many companies don't do this. Is that you've got to measure, okay, I am gonna spend X number of dollars and I expect X number of dollars in return.
Look at this graph!
Now, as a young chef just starting out, I don't want that number to be thousands of dollars or money that you can't afford to invest until the model has proven it itself. Looking at it is, how much can I spend to acquire a new client? And the way that you measure that is, what is the upfront revenue that I'm going to generate from it? And what is my projected lifetime value of this client? So in this instance, let's just say this young chef charges $100 a month. You also have to factor in, what is your expense? So if I'm charging $100, how much does it cost me to serve that client? So maybe it costs me $50. So every $100 I make, I get $50 in profit in return. So maybe what I have to do is, I know my hard cost is $50, so I want to try and acquire this client for $50 or less, so that I know at least my overall expense, both on the advertising and my product, is essentially breaking even. Now, we project out the lifetime value. This chef has to be honest with himself. How good is this service? How long do I think? Are people gonna stay for a month? Are they gonna stay for 6 months? Are they gonna stay for 2 years? Obviously, as a new business, we don't know. We don't have any data. This data will be collected over time. So as a new business, to be cautious, I would set it at, let's say it's a 3-month lifetime value. So 3 months at $100 a month equals $300 in gross revenue. But remember, we've got $50 in expense, so that's $150 in expenses, so that's $150 in profit. So now we have to factor that in as we start scaling and growing. Maybe as we get more historical data and as we have more revenue, maybe we can extend out and actually spend the $100 or $150 to acquire a client as you get better and better with that lifetime value. Now, basically breaking even, which in the beginning of a business is not necessarily a bad thing. Everybody wants to jump into profit right away, which is great, but sometimes you need to build that out. So again, just recapping from the advertising perspective is know the math of your business. And again, in the beginning, you're gonna project, it's guesses. That's why I don't want you to spend too much money in any direction until it's proven, until you have the math dialed in. Now, the beauty of it is once you have the math dialed in from an advertising perspective, you can scale. And it no longer becomes, what is my budget for the month for advertising, but how much budget can I pump into this until that formula breaks.
I want to feel like it's raining on me, okay?
And this is where billion-dollar companies are made in years instead of decades. It's all based on math. So when we talk about lifetime value, how do you increase the lifetime value? Well, one is make sure you're delivering a quality product. In this instance, is the food good? Is the experience good? In addition, like one way to really get a sense of that is send out anonymous surveys to your clients. So there was an amazing interview that I saw with Elon Musk. And when he would ask people for their opinion, he would say, what do you not like about my product? So for example, with Tesla, he would ask, what do you not like about this car? He wouldn't ask them, what do you like about it? Because he doesn't learn anything from that.
That's my opinion!
And the more that you can take that feedback and hone in and get better with your product, that is going to extend your lifetime value. In addition, another thing that you can do is once you start getting the data, let's just say that we see the drop off right before the billing cycle of the 3rd month, which means a few days before the client is gonna get charged the next $100, they tend to cancel. So if you see that recurring theme, then maybe what you do is you give them a 50% discount before that 3rd month as a thank you. Or you say, for this next month, I wanna thank you so much for sticking around. I'm gonna give you an extra meal, or I'm gonna give you an extra dessert. Or maybe you just do it as like a surprise gift or something like that to just earn that trust and credibility.
Don't leave me, please, don't leave me.
Again, the data and the numbers are are gonna tell you so much about your business. So in measuring all of this, there's different ways. There's a very simplistic way where you can measure it in an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet, or there's more sophisticated tracking. Like if you're using Facebook or Instagram ads, you can insert pixels into your website, or if you use like a lead generation form, it'll give you data back that can track most of it for you. So if you're just starting out, just start with basic math. Is I'm gonna spend $100, write it down on a piece of paper in a spreadsheet, and then after you spent the $100, how much revenue did I come in? Did I generate $0? Did I generate $1,000? Did I generate $10,000? If it's $0, what went wrong? Was it the ad? Was it the landing page? Was it something else? Or if you generated $100, or if you spent $100, you made $10,000, awesome. Go and spend $1,000 and see if that $1,000 turns into $100,000, and you just keep scaling through there.
I'm semi, I stay automatic. Money add then multiply. I call it math for mathematics.
You gotta focus on how to make money. Let's just say you get 100,000 followers tomorrow, then how do you turn that into money? Like, this is the most important lesson that people need to make, is how do you generate money?
Money. 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 Oh! Money.
Money allows you to sustain growth. The more that you can figure out how to generate revenue, the more that you can reinvest into your brand, the more you can reinvest into your business. So if you're just starting out, don't focus on the followers first unless you're already established. Or in my case, I generated 1 million followers in 30 days to leverage it for larger strategic opportunities. I leveraged it to close a literary agent, a publishing deal. Then I took that book and I got on stage in front of thousands of people and spoke all around the world. Followers can be immensely valuable. Don't get me wrong, I wrote an entire book on it. But what I want first for you is I want a sustainable foundation that you can invest in that long-term growth. And that's where the organic content comes in. That's where generating the followers and that social presence. You have the revenue, then you can hire the team. You can play the long-term goal and the long-term strategy, and it will ultimately get you to where you want to go. But the minute somebody says, I need to make money today,
I ain't got no money.
it's like, that's what we're gonna focus on. We're not gonna focus on getting a follower and then convincing that follower to buy something. Let's just go to how do we get somebody to buy something and cut that extra step out of the equation. Again, with my business, I started with the follower growth as a hook point for larger strategic opportunities. But that was a long-term play. I turned it into millions of dollars in revenue, but it took at least a year to get that up and running. And I made significant investments on my part to build that infrastructure and to get all of that working for me. So just to recap, your first job is go out and close your first client. That's your first job. That's all I want you to focus on. I know we're talking and our aspiration is to build bigger businesses and brands, and I'm committed to helping you do that. But the first place that we all start is making that first sale. If you've made that first sale, then go get the next 10, and from the next 10, get the next 100, and then from the next 100, get the next 1,000, and just keep growing and scaling that way. Also, what I want you to focus on is not followers and organic content in the beginning. Let's focus on generating the revenue so we can create a sustainable platform. Because the last thing I want to see you do is start getting into organic content, start getting into follower growth, and 60 days later you run out of money and you're like, I don't know what to do next. In addition, know the math of your business. I am not a math genius. You don't need to know calculus. It's simple math. Understand, how much can I spend to acquire a client? What is the value of the client up front versus the lifetime value of the amount of time that they're going to spend with me? Use that math to drive your business. Once you have the math working for you, if you know for every dollar I spend, I make $3 in profit, then it becomes how much money can I spend into it until it breaks. And then, in addition, is just have the right mindset going into this. Set yourself up for the long game. Set yourself up for the long term. Don't give up. It will get challenging. You will run into obstacles along the way. As a good friend once told me, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. Everything that I just expressed to you is very simple, but it's going to be challenging. You're going to run into obstacles and challenges. The people watching this that are going to be successful are the ones that don't give up. and they will ultimately reach their goal or dream. It may take them longer than they anticipated, but they will find the ultimate success that they're looking for. So thank you so much for watching this video. It's a true pleasure to connect with you. If you enjoyed this, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for future videos. And I want to hear from you below. Comment below, what business do you want to grow? What is the business that you're working on or starting? What have you learned from this video? And if you enjoyed it, please click the like button. It's always appreciated and very helpful.